Hello there, folks. Very good morning, afternoon, or evening to you, wherever you're listening or watching around the world. This is a sort of brief video of our tropical garden in Thailand. I'm going to run through it just very briefly about what's been going on. This is the original site, all covered in secondary growth, an old coconut grove, and this is the road that runs along the front of the house, or used to. Well, the road still runs there, but it's totally different now. And this is the infill. It's all sorts of crap, clay, sand, stones, God knows what. And we had 160 odd lorry loads of about 16 cubic meters of infill per load. Now this is the Caterpillar, with me posing on it, not driving it. They wouldn't let me near it for some reason. I wonder why. Anyway, this is saving some of our topsoil, pure sand, and this is part of the retaining wall along the side of the house. It goes down about 1.5 meters at the deepest. Here we are, there's a better view of it here. Quite some work went into that. And the view coming up here is of the garden, perhaps a year later, laid to grass mainly, and then developed from then onwards. So here we go. This took many hours, many days, many weeks and months of bloody hard work, mixing everything up by hand, everything dragged in by hand. So there we go, it all worked out very well. Please, if you like this video, please subscribe and give me the thumbs up. Not fingers, please. The thumb will do nicely. Thank you very much. Well, this is our koi pond. We have 2 circulating pumps and 2 air pumps because, in actual fact, the pond is heavily overstocked. Probably more than 50 fish, and many of them over a foot long. And the pond itself holds about 6,000 litres, which is approximately 6 tonnes of water. That includes the filters, all biological filters, mechanical filters, all built in situ. A whole lot I've built in myself, including a venturi. Now coming up next is a little stroll around the balcony. This is a big tree at the front of the house. Now this is a superb tree. It's native to Thailand. I don't know its name. It has bitter, or not bitter, but very tart orange fruits, which the birds love. And they get snakes, tree frogs, all sorts of birds, God knows what else in there. I mean, it's just amazing what actually gets in that tree. Now coming here, this palm here is a Roystonia, which comes from America and was named after a general called Roy Stone, who fought during the American Civil War apparently. So there you are, there's a useless bit of information for you. Now panning around here to the north of the garden, this is roughly north, and you can see in the background they're constructing a complex, a housing complex, which won't affect us very much at all. That's the rear lawn there, you can see. Now again, looking from the balcony incidentally extends right around the house. You can walk right around the house on the first floor level. And you just saw there the gazebo. Didn't pan on that long enough actually, but that was gazebo. And that's a lovely spot to sit in the garden because it always gets the shade. Hot afternoons, that's great. Here again are more shots of the koi pond with the odd fish on show. And coming up next, I feel like a tour operator. This is the Cactus and Succulent garden, and this is built on top of the main water tank for the house. This is a sort of more of a ground level view, if you like. We're walking around, panning along as we go. Yeah, that's a euphorbia, some sort of euphorbia. And in the sun it's pure white, and it's a terrific background or backdrop to darker plants, purples especially. It looks really good with purples. These stones here were formed through natural cementation. Yeah, they're fantastic shapes, all sort of hollowed out. It's really good, excellent stuff. We found it in the ground, in the infill actually. And this log or piece of wood you can see is a piece of teak wood that's been eaten by termites and various other ants, and weathered. It's terrific for the rock garden. Now here's a sort of distant view again from the balcony of my bromeliad tree. Yes. Later videos I hope to show how to make those. They're good. In temperate climes you can't really grow bromeliads. Not very well anyway. But you could grow ferns and various other plants, and it's still a good idea. And another shot of the succulent garden. Um, some of these plants here I've had, this one here in particular, I've had about 7 years. And this one here in the centre, I scrounge that one like one does. Delonyx Virginia, a superb tree, lovely tree. Another shot of the pond. Feeding time at the zoo, so to speak. Yeah, oh, that's quite good. You can really see the colours of the fish in this shot. It's good. Yeah, I'm well pleased with that one. And then coming away from there, we're still on a walking around the balcony. Actually, this is the front garden. Looking down immediately below in the bottom of that frame is the water tank for the condo, which is disguised. And this is the shrine for the Buddha, which a wife prays to every day, almost without fail. And that thing that looks like a palm, in actual fact, is a strelitzia, which is a perennial plant. I'm still waiting for it to flower. I've been waiting frigging years and it's still no sign of flowering. The front drive, all the concrete's lifted up because it was done very badly by relatives, I hasten to add. Shouldn't say that really. Panning back now to the main part of the balcony, and that's where I sit down and have breakfast, and sometimes in the evening have a beer and a sandwich. Now looking down here, this is another water tank. This is a stormwater tank from the guttering, and that stood out on its own, and I've sort of built all this sort of fancy brickwork on this little pond here. It's another shot of the bromeliad tree, mostly acmeas and tillandsias there, a few neorigelias, and there's the steps up across the top of the water tank, which goes in actual fact into the second shade house. So I've got 2 shade houses now, and this is a view inside the second shade house. It's mainly ferns, bromeliads, a few orchids, odd other bibs and bobs, strays and things. There we are. That face there, that sort of dial there, I made that from an ornament I have on the wall here. I covered the face in talcum powder, pressed it into some fine damp sand, and just poured neat cement into it. And Bob's your old carbuncle. We have an ornament for free. Well, nearly free anyway. Yeah. Now we're coming into the little walkway there. That's between the 2 shade houses. This is another bromeliad tree. Again, this one's mainly acmeas. Yeah, mainly acmeas and neorigelias. There we are, we're coming through the walkway and turning left into the main shade house, or the first shade house, whatever you want to call it. And this is a bit, well, it's like a frigging jungle at the moment. So in actual fact, the last couple of days just started to clear it out a bit, because you couldn't get through it. You don't know what sort of snakes and bugs and things are looking at you when it's all overgrown like that either. Dread to think, is it's 5 or 6 species of snake I've identified in the garden that are still here regularly or permanently. Yeah, the worst one, of course, being the good old cobra, spitting cobras. They're not much fun, believe me. This, I love coming in this place. It is the jungle. It's got that lovely smell to it, you know, the lovely earthy, damp smell, and all the blooms, the flowers, and that. It's lovely. It's great. You know, The roof isn't much, it's only screening. It's some cheap sunscreen you get here. I mean, you have to replace it every 2 or 3 years. It doesn't look very attractive, but to get sort of rattan screening or rust screening would be prohibitive. I mean, I just couldn't afford that, so I just go with the flow and use what everybody else uses. And you get used to it after a while, you know. I tried it all fancy stuff, and nobody else. People come around and look at it. And I think, well, why? Why do it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's the flowers that people want, or the plants, more than anything. Again, it's looking through into the shade house. Really do like this. Dumb canes there, staghorns, stag's horn fern. I'll get it out in a minute. More dumb canes and more dumb canes. And these are mainly acmeas and neorigelias, the odd fern or two, underneath the second of the 2 mango trees we have. This year, this mango, this one tree really fruited well. First time it has done. We've had the odd 2 or 3 fruit on it now and again, but this year it's been very, very good. And this is a backward view of the pond, if you like, looking through from the where all the filters are, looking through the archway into a little bit of the waterfall. I love sitting around here. It's you know, if you're stressed, there's nothing like tinkling water, running water. Every garden, every yard, every little bit of space outside should have some sort of water feature in it, whatever it is. You know, it's you can buy these little moulded things with just a tinkle of water with a little pump running through it. I mean, it's fine. It's just the noise of running water. It's great. This is looking roughly southeast. That was looking southeast. This is one side of the garden. These trees are Indian mast trees, and they were about 8-9 meters tall, and the neighbours complained, so we had to reduce them in height to about 4 meters. But they look better for this because the leaves look like they're cascading down. They look as if they're flowing. So I'm pleased with that. That's good. So they're more like a shrub than a tree now. But we still have to trim them every year. I think last year we had to trim them twice. There's the old Roystonia again. The old Roystonia again. There's the carp pond. Here we are. Yeah, I love this view. I love this side of the house. And that a bit of stonework in front there, with the purplish sort of shrubs on top. That again is a stormwater tank running from the guttering, so I've disguised that to make it like a rotunda. And I put these little, you call them follies, I would guess, ruins to look a bit like Angkor Wat dotted around the garden. Yeah, so I mean, I've really enjoyed doing that. And there's an agave, or there was an agave, it's just disappeared now. And this palm on the left, you can see I've chopped the top of it off with the camera. We were given those by a neighbour. Unfortunately, he's dead now. He's a terrific guy. Always giving us stuff. Well, I mean, he was a good guy anyway. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful palm. It's so graceful, slender and elegant. It really is superb. I've got 2 of those mature, and I've taken loads of seeds, and I've got several on the way now, 2 or 3 meters high that I've grown from seed. So I'm well pleased with that. And this is the what I call the ruin pond. There we come back to the pond again. I really do like this. Now, if you enjoyed this video, perhaps you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And maybe even give me the thumbs up. Or the thumbs down if you like, not really bothered. Hopefully I should be doing more videos on gardening and tropics, gardens in general, tips and tricks, things to do, things you can get away with, things you can't do, and naughty things. So bear with me and keep watching my videos. I hope this has been entertaining, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Thank you. As an afterthought, I thought I'd mention that the wet monsoon here lasts about 6 months, roughly from March to October. And the remainder of the year is the dry monsoon, which are the winds from the northeast. The wet monsoon, the winds are usually from the southwest. It does vary a little bit. Sometimes it can be very, very wet in the wet monsoon, and sometimes it can be very dry as well. Interesting stuff.